Hello, good afternoon. We believe in trying to honor people's time, and we appreciate everybody being here today. Well, finally, we are together. Yeah. Not quite fully, but we're getting close, and hopefully next year at this time when we celebrate our Senior Hall of Fame, we will be able to fill our room even more than it is today. But I am so glad that it is filled with those of you who are friends, family, Dunedinites here today to share this special day. I'm Sandy Sunter. I am the current chair of the Dunedin's Committee on Aging, and so I do welcome everybody here today. First of all, I want to thank our dedicated Dulcimers of Dunedin for welcoming everybody into the special place today. As a once Dulcimer player, I'm kind of jealous, but thank you. And we will be hearing more from them today. They're so grateful that they could join us today and be a part of this. As we begin each of our Committee on Aging, I would just like for everyone who is comfortable and who is able to stand so that we can say our pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We always start our Committee on Aging meeting, and even on Zoom, we hold a little flag and remember where we are. So today we're gathered to celebrate and honor our 2021 Senior Hall of Fame winners. Betty Edelman. Betty, if you'll kind of stand for a, oh. And Kay Hartnett. And we'll have lots of opportunity to hear more about our two very special winners today. You know, so much has happened in our community, in our state, in our country, and even abroad. And we know that COVID-19 really brought so many challenges. I know I never would have dreamt in my lifetime that I would have experienced this type of an event with a pandemic, and my family and my friends and the people in my community. I would have never thought about it. And when I do think about it, one of the things that comes to my mind is the amount of loss that was experienced during this time. We're talking financial losses and educational losses for our young people, social losses, not being with friends and not being able to visit families, people who are ill, just not able to be together. And it's so important that we are able to be with one another. We were kept apart. We had loss of togetherness, loss of intimacy, and so many, I'm sure we could all say. And yet, and we know that there are so many people today that are having a loss of someone at their table and a loss in their heart as well. We were not able to have our Senior Hall of Fame last year, as we know, but we do feel that we need to honor those people during that period of time who died during our pandemic, to think of their family and friends who were left with their feelings of grief and loss. And yet we also thought in our committee that we also want to remember and be grateful for so many things that each and every one of us as individuals and as families and as friends have, to remember those things that we are grateful for. Think about those who deserve our gratitude, the first responders, the medical personnel, so many people around us who have taken care of one another and taken care of those who are ill and needing help. And be grateful that we are able to sit here together today, and I know I am, and as is our Committee on Aging as well. So to honor our winners and to be with one another, we wanted to make sure that we have an opportunity to remember those who could not be with us today. In our hallway that we put our Hall of Fame winners, we did have a plaque made, and it is on the wall, and it says, "In Memoriam and Gratitude 2020, our hearts know constant sorrow for those too many who passed in this dark pandemic night. Our hope sees the persistent light of dawn in those essential workers whose hearts bravely serve." So that is in our hallway, in the hallway here at the Hale Center, so that we can remember those people in our lives. I would like to invite our dulcimers, our dedicated dulcimers of Dunedin, who have put together a few songs in memoriam, in gratitude, to give us our time for some private thoughts and private thinking. Thank you.
My latest sun is sinking fast. My race is nearly run. My longest trials all are past. My triumph has begun. Oh, come, angel band, come and around me stand. Bear me away on your snow-white wings to my immortal home. Oh, bear me away on your snow-white wings to my immortal home. I've almost gained my heavenly home. My spirit loudly sings. The holy ones, behold they come. I hear the sound of wings. Oh, come,
Beautiful, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Thank you, thank you. Our Dunedin Senior Hall of Fame started back in 1999, and it has been a highlight in our city ever since. And we will, as of today, be adding the names of Betty and Kay to those who were honored in the past, and their names and their pictures will be added to the roll of our Senior Hall of Fame winners that, again, are outside in one of the hallways. I would like to ask anyone who is a previous winner, if you are able to stand to be recognized that you're here today. And also to keep in mind that in your program is the list of all the many wonderful Dunedinites that are listed in our program from the beginning of our event until present day. Some who are no longer with us, some who just aren't able here to be with us today, and of course, those of you who I'm so grateful are here. So anybody who is a previous winner, please stand. Thank you so much. To be a part of that group, I'm hoping down the road. As the representative of the Dunedin's Committee on Aging, alongside our other committee members, I have had the privilege recently to stand before our mayor and our commissioners several times, being able to accept proclamations for our Older Americans Month, our Senior Hall of Fame, Intergenerational Week, and I've been able to share with them all of the awesome kinds of activities and projects that the Dunedin Committee on Aging has been working on. Just did that about a week ago, and I was so honored to be able to be a part of that. And we are so lucky to have some of our local officials here with us today. Our Mayor, Julie Bujalski, was not able to be here, but we are able to say hello to Commissioner Kynes, Commissioner Freeney. Commissioner Gao is not here today, and Commissioner Tornga. Vince Gizzi, who is our Park and Recreational Director. Jocelyn Broadhead, who is our Recreation Superintendent, and we work with her on the Intergenerational Week. And Jennifer Bramley, who is our City Manager and who was the keynote speaker a couple of years ago. Thank you for being here with us today. I'm also proud to introduce members of our Committee on Aging who take time from their very busy lives and all of the other commitments that they are bound to discuss the challenges of aging and finding ways to make living in Dunedin the best city for us as we age. So I would like to introduce those members. Oh, I just saw Commissioner Tornga. Good morning, afternoon. I'd like to introduce Ginny Moore, the Vice Chair, and who's been very involved in helping pull our activity together. Sally Hess is our Secretary. She is not here today. Michael Whalen, who is our Age Wave Chair, who also was a part of our committee for our Senior Hall of Fame. Larry Franklin is not here, and he is our Membership and IG Chair. Marianne Fisher, Public Relations, who has rejoined our group and has been very involved with us in getting our gifts for our winners today, and just to be a member. Other members who are not with us today are Heidi DeLuca, Mary Ginn, and Tom Anderson. And I am grateful for each and every one of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Also, DCOA is really fortunate because we have some very special friends who come to our meetings pretty religiously, I have to say. Even when we were Zooming, they were here. And I would like to introduce them as well. Dave Lomaka, who is with Neighborly Cares. And for anybody who is familiar with Palm Lake Village, he was instrumental in getting the meals back at Palm Lake Village, which was great, thank you. Stacy Bolin is from the Area Agency on Aging is not here. Kelly Siegel from Empath Health. And Susanna Young, who is the chairperson for Dunedin Social Services Advisory. Thank you. And we have Kelly Edwards, who has been a member and a supporter of ours. And Sharon Williams, I've had this somewhere else, but I'm going to say it to you now. Sharon Williams, who was on our committee for many years, and I miss her terribly. And did I miss anybody? I always afraid. I'm sorry. And Roxy Smith. I know. Hi, Roxy. This year's theme for the Older Americans Month was Communities of Strength. Now, how does that happen? How do communities become strong? It can only happen when there are people with different strengths, lots of courage, creativity, and certainly generosity. Not necessarily financial, but generosity with their time and ideas and energy. So people get together and see what's happening around them, and they're the ones who try to find ways to make things better and make things happen. And that is what the Committee on Aging does, but our keynote speaker today is also a woman who does. Our keynote speaker today is Linda Goldman. She is a woman of strength, a woman of courage and creativity, and most of all, I think of resilience. And she's going to share her story with you today. She is the founder of SAGES, Senior Actors Guild and Education Services. And I think I'm going to stop there and let her tell you the rest of the story. Linda?
Thank you, Sandy. Now, Sandy left all her notes on top of mine.
Yes, I'll probably leave my laundry too, and everything else.
Is everything else here? Okay, that's okay. Oh, here's, no, I'm only teasing. No, that's okay. That's fine. But don't go too far because I'm going to need you, okay? Now, I am not an actor, so I'm a little nervous doing this. I'm normally behind the scenes because I am the playwright. So this is a unique experience for me, but I'm glad to be part of this recognition ceremony for Kay and for Betty. I think what you do is absolutely marvelous. And you don't know me, but you might know my play, Denying Gravity. We were actually here at the Dunedin Community Center, and I still have a souvenir flyer and the playbill from it too, and Sandy Sunter actually was in that play. I'm still dropping your notes. Okay. So theater is all about engaging the audience, and the cast comes together, and they're like a little community too. They support each other. It's not going to be successful if everyone doesn't pitch in and help. And it's not just about engaging with the audience, but we want the audience to engage with each other. We want you to see our plays with purpose, and walk away with feeling like you learned something along with your fellow audience members, and as a team, you are advocates on what you have learned. But when you meet someone for the first time like me, there is curiosity. It's human nature for me, you want me to reveal something about myself. And when I write a play, that's called exposition, and it's subtle. The curtain opens, you see actors in a play, and immediately you try to grasp something about these actors, these people. Can you relate to them? Playwrights give you clues about them. And for example, I'm going to call Sandy up here. This is more of your notes. I'm going to give her a little script, and we're going to demonstrate something about exposition that I will explain. You better come closer so we can hear you. Hi, Hi, Sandy. I just heard the city of Dunedin purchased the Gladys Douglas Preserve.
Yes, we did. 44 acres of natural Florida environment is saved.
Wow, that's remarkable, remarkable. Oh my, oh, and did I mention that I made a donation to the effort through the Pinellas Community Foundation?
Oh, yes, I believe you did.
You're implying that I repeat myself? That's a no-no for a playwright.
Linda, you told me 3 times already.
Uh-huh, we agree.
We do?
Yes, it's the first time I told you. Thank you. You may leave now. I don't want to get the hook for you. Bye. Thank you, Sandy. All right, so I just gave you some clear hints about me and some fuzziness. I denied that I repeated myself. Does that mean I'm stubborn? Or maybe I have some hearing loss? Or maybe I'm getting forgetful, and that frightens me, so I cover it with satire. You see, I don't want to reveal everything about my characters in a play too soon. I sprinkle clues as the play progresses. However, you did learn that conservation of Florida's environment is important to me and to you. We have that in common. And I'm in awe of your accomplishment. And you must be proud of yourselves too as a community to raise $10 million. My gosh, unheard of. I am a playwright, and maybe you've never met a playwright, and I've never met you. And I feel a teensy sense of pride for my donation to the cause. And many of you feel that pride too, and rightly so. So we connect. By the way, I looked at a newsletter with all the activities listed for young people here in this community. All I can say is, wow, that's remarkable. I did it again. I repeated myself. The next time you see a play, I hope you'll take note of subtle hints from the playwright. So are there other connections between us? I'm originally from New Jersey, known as the Garden State. Oh, boy. Someone admitted it. Someone admitted it back there. Okay, you may think that we identify by the crops we grow, but no, we identify by highway exit number. New Jersey is no longer the Garden State, it's the highway state. It's all exit ramps. So I was exit 11 on the Garden State Parkway and exit 9 on the New Jersey Turnpike. They probably know that these two cross each other and take you north to the Big Apple or south to the Jersey Shore. I loved it, but obviously most of you are not from New Jersey, so let me find something else. The young people won't know anything about this, but we're glad to have you. You're bringing down the average age in the room tremendously. Thank you. Some of you lived through or heard about a scenario that took place in 1945 after Armistice Day in November, the 11th month, the 11th day, the 11th hour. People held gatherings to officially welcome the boys home from the war. Of course, there were women, but whatever. Ours was, in our little town, our celebration was at the little firehouse in the center of town. And except for my parents, everyone was there. My mom was in labor with me. And my dad called the firehouse to share the news. After 4 boys, they finally had a baby girl. And family lore says there was a loud round of applause that came over the telephone. My little ears heard it. And though I didn't know it then, theater became my destiny. Unfortunately, there was a delay of 7 decades before I finally figured out what I wanted to be when I grow up. Does any child say, I want to be a playwright when I grow up instead of a doctor or nurse? No. But if you recognized your passion in life, and I hope you young people especially, if you recognize early in life, and at any age, go for it, take risks. In between, I did the usual, got married, had my first child at 19. That sounds very young, but back then it wasn't. I got divorced. That was a little bit unusual, but it's no longer scandalous. Then I married for the second time. When I called my 19-year-old son with the happy news, he hung up on me. Many kids can't see their parents as anything but a forever couple. Anyway, I have heard that Long-time first marriages start out happy and stay in a good place, and it's wonderful. Second marriages either soar up high to cloud 9 or descend into you know where. I soared, and my son came around to acceptance too. I wanted happiness to last forever. But life takes twists and turns. I was a widow before I turned 60. The fall from cloud 9 to blinding grief stunned me for several years. Now I define happiness a bit differently. Maybe it's simply the absence of drama, which is a good thing when I think back on losing a wonderful husband to cancer, and back to the years of raising teenagers. No offense. With age comes resilience against the very awful and appreciation for the little pleasures in life. I'm now in an unexpected relationship with a loving partner, Marvin. We're engaged. People ask, when are you getting married? Even our rabbi, who called us the dynamic duo, happened to ask, you're engaged to do what, Linda? Well, at our age, you know, it's kind of to be determined. We'll just leave it at that. I don't know if anything I've said you can relate to. I hope there's something, but maybe differences are more interesting. Okay, there are a couple of odd examples about me. Do you remember the TV game show Concentration? I was a contestant during Thanksgiving week in 1969. For those who don't remember, it required you to decipher a phrase hidden in a rebus-like puzzle behind a board of 30 numbers, which had prizes behind them. I had a 3-day run, winning 2 cars, furniture, other prizes, and it was my second experience with applause, this time from a small in-studio audience, but I think it was my mom clapping the loudest. Another example, I went to college in my 60s, but I enjoyed it much more than I might have earlier in life. After a tough geometry test, the professor was handing out the papers, and he mentioned only one person in the class got 100. I turned my paper over. Yep, I got the 100. It's proof that we can learn and continue learning at any age. I had difficulty in high school, and I remember my mom telling me, girls aren't good at math. She was wrong. At 65, I was solving quadratic equations. That may sound smart, and I did learn a lot while pursuing a 2-year associate in arts degree, issued with a seal of magna cum laude. But I still had the dilemma of what I wanted to be when I grow up. And now here I'm 65. What am I going to be? The diploma was simply tucked in a file drawer, and I concentrated on my volunteer work with Marvin, running activities for older adults at my temple in Clearwater. I never thought volunteer work would inspire me to become a playwright, but volunteer work of itself is inspiring, so I urge everyone to be a volunteer. But incidentally, no one needs a college degree to be a playwright. In fact, Thornton Wilder, the writer, said successful plays have been written by dunderheads. Maybe I'm one of them, I don't know. I think he should have clarified that some writers are better at novels, others at poetry or lyrics, none of which I can do. I struggled writing this speech. For 8 years as volunteers, Marvin and I planned fun things to do for groups of seniors who had been through trying times, but still managed to smile, to learn, to accept change. That's a big thing, and move forward. Aging is amazing. You lose some abilities, but you gain others. Their stories were the stuff of plays based on real life, and my favorite activity for them was theater excursions. We have excellent community theater here in Pinellas County, but I wasn't seeing our stories on stage. I saw zany comedies, which are good for a laugh, and laughter is good. I don't denigrate it. But older actors frequently played one-dimensional characters, kind of as comic foils, and that bothered me a lot. The problem was, in my whole life, I'd never written a play or even seen a play script, and I had zero experience in producing one. Yet I felt a strong desire to present plays that show a more balanced view of aging. So I borrowed a play script to use as a format and started writing. Marvin claims while having dinner at my place, I left the room and came back with a stack of paper in my hand announcing, "I wrote a play." He asked, "In the 5 minutes you were away from the table?" The original draft of my first play, Grandma Goes Off Her Rocker, took about 2 weeks. Not long, because I discovered a passion for writing plays. Plays on aging as I saw it and also experienced it. A first draft of a script may go through 40 or more rewrites. Neil Simon said his first play was 1,200 pages long if he counted all the rewrites in the trash can. And then your script is ready for a director and a cast and a stage manager. And they form the grown-ups of this, and the people in this little community of theater. It does take a village or community to produce a play. In rehearsal, words can come out garbled when actually spoken. And the written scenes, terrific in theory, can be complicated by costume or set changes. If the downtime runs long in between scenes, the audience will blink and lose interest. In fact, writer Terrence McNally said the first scenes in his play were such a problem it was rejected, along with a note telling him, "Get a job as a stage manager," before he writes another play. We hosted stage readings for feedback from the audience early in the process of our Plays with Purpose, and we will be hosting a stage reading of The Dealmaker later this year. It means fewer rewrites. And I can tell you the actors hate to have their lines rewritten. In spite of a few stumbles, Grandma Goes Off Her Rocker was produced as a successful fundraiser for my temple. It was so well received. I was overwhelmed by the response. In it, a widow no longer able to keep up a house of her own moves into the home of her adult daughter and sets the dynamics of role reversal in motion. The child taking care of the parent. And that happens. The action goes up a notch, though, when a sweetheart from her youth returns to town and inquires about her. People in the audience came up to me to share their stories. The response affirmed the dialogue in the play is true, and that's important. I think plays should speak truth. All of my plays are a mix of comedy and drama, just like real life, and this one hit home for many in the audience. With requests coming at me to take it further, that passion increased to write and produce more plays that reflect real stories of aging. But it's not enough to just write plays. That's words on paper. A play is about the action that's taking place on stage. What are musical notes if there's no performance like we had? Is it music? So too with plays. So I decided at the age of 70 to found my own theater company, Senior Actors Guild and Education Services. And I figured I might as well take the lead role as president. Who has the time to climb the ladder of success at my age, at 70? It was risky, because at that point, all I knew about theater was how to buy group tickets. I had no clue how to run a theater company. Eric Davis of Free Fall Theater told me if they sold every seat for every performance, they would still lose money. That didn't sound like a good investment for someone my age. And yet, I took money from my retirement savings to fund the business, and I simply hid the financial paperwork from my kids. I did it with a purpose. I not only wanted a positive image of aging on stage, I wanted to feature senior actors in lead roles and stimulate discussion on issues of older Americans. That mission is actually on my coffee mug. So when I drink store brand coffee instead of Starbucks, I can remember why I chose to be broke and happy. And I kept writing. Get in the Game came next. A 55-plus community has a busy activities director with coworkers urging her to give gentlemen admirers a better answer than, "I don't date." While her mama, played by Sandy Sunter, in a wig, Sandy Sunter, she questions the intentions of these so-called gentlemen. I tried to find a picture of Sandy in that wig to bring with me, but the only one who looks worse is me because she couldn't make a performance. I had to put it on and become mother. Next came Committed. It has an agreeable couple anticipating retirement with plans to travel the world. Then she gets the promotion of a lifetime and goes up to the executive floor. But it's in another state. So he has to retire to move with her, and he ends up on the bottom floor, mopping the kitchen of their new villa. Something has to change, or a silver divorce is in their future. With a corset line, that's a fun play on encouraging rather than discouraging the pursuit of dreams. I finally turned a prophet. Yay! Then I gave it all up to become Sages Theater, a publicly owned nonprofit organization that we have today. I'm still president, but now a board tells me what to do. How did this happen? I met Christine Hamaker, who's here, a dynamo of an advocate for older adults. She suggested I write a play about fall prevention. Fall prevention? Excuse me? Even if I wanted to, how could I? I agreed with writer Sidney Kingsley. He said, know what you write about. But I had by this time acquired a little knack of storytelling and dialogue, and Christine's enthusiasm to change the world was catching. I learned from her falls are the leading cause of injury and death for older adults. Right here in Pinellas County, over 25,000 calls a year go to 911 because a senior fell. I created a fictional family and friends in action to show how a simple fall by an older adult might lead to a second fall and may have a domino effect even on the community, as it would on yours. The play Denying Gravity introduces Claire, an independent retiree who simply procrastinates on replacing a burned out light bulb. Her balance is a little shaky, so she knows better than to get up on a chair, but neither will she ask for help. Why do we hate to ask for help? I love to observe an audience bonding together as they decide to not be like Claire. According to 911, wherever Denying Gravity has been performed, calls decrease. You can find dates for this show later this year on our website, live shows, sagestheater.org. It's been a few years since we performed it in Dunedin, and I hope we'll be back soon. We're currently performing a second play, Phony Baloney. It's about a group of seniors who meet for fun at their center, but find out they need strategies to stop scams. According to the Federal Trade Commission, certain scams disproportionately target seniors by phone, like computer tech fraud. We have experienced, Marvin has his computer being frozen, and he panicked. He called the 800 number that popped up. Fortunately, I walked in the room and stopped him. But it's very successful, and our age group is the least likely to report falling victim to a scam. Well, we wanted to do something about that, Sages Theater. Phony Baloney will have you shouting it from the rooftops to make sure your friends and neighbors protect themselves. As the usual style is, it is a fun play with a serious message and helpful demonstrations of tactics on both sides of the phone line. You see the scammers, what they're doing, and the seniors on the other end. A virtual performance is available July 7th to the 14th, courtesy of your City of Dunedin's Committee on Aging. If you can, watch it with others. Even on film, a bond takes place within groups, like a pledge to remember what you witnessed can happen when the phone rings. The Federal Trade Commission again says phone scams result in the highest aggregate losses for seniors. We have a built-in resistance to lectures on topics like scams because we know we are careful. But when we see older actors on stage and feel a connection to them, we can put ourselves in their place. When the scammers start calling, we not only want these seniors to protect themselves, we want to protect them too, because we're that kind of people, we're a community. Because we've been able to connect with them, we see them as friends, and we don't want anybody to hurt our friends. In a community as connected as you are in Dunedin, a community with purpose, just like our plays with purpose, I see great stories to be told. I'm here to listen. Thank you for inviting me. I hope I didn't talk too long. You should have gotten the hook.
Since I'm a part of SAGES, I love hearing about it. And on your tables, you will see about the event related to being able to see phony baloney. So they are on your tables. So, okay, now where did she do with my papers? Sure. I'm sorry. See, she messed up my papers.
Sandy, there might be still some.
No, I've got it. I'm good. Thank you, Linda. And you know I love you. And I was so fortunate to have known Linda through our synagogue and told her, you know, I'm kind of an old thespian from the day and I'm interested. So I've had some wonderful opportunities. And Christine Hamaker, who is the executive director now of SAGES, is right here. Many of you may know her from her work with the elderly in the community.
I just want to thank Sandy for what she's done with SAGES, but I also want to let you know she's Claire this year in Denying Gravity, so you got to come and see her. She has the lead role. Thank you.
As if, you know, around our age, you know, I was in theater as a young person and you could remember lines like this. Not so much now. So that takes time, but I'm very thrilled and thank you for that. But now, it is time for us to introduce our 2021 winners of our Senior Hall of Fame. So I'd like to call up Ginny Moore, who is again the Vice Chair of our Committee on Aging, to join me because she is going to introduce our first Hall of Fame winner today, Betty Edelman.
Testing. No. Let's see here. Testing, 1, 2. Can you hear me? Good. Good afternoon. It's my pleasure to introduce Betty Edelman to you. Betty was born in Frankfort, Indiana. You can't hear me. Okay, let's get this again. Let's see this. Hello? Hello? I have to get all the way in here. Okay, I'll hold it. That's fine, thank you. Betty was born in Frankfort, Indiana in 1938. Her beloved parents were Dr. Milton and Helen Ordell. She describes her childhood as idyllic, with family and friends always using their home as a hub, and a wonderful undeveloped area behind her home where she said everyone just gathered all the time. She has 2 sisters, Becky, Kathy, and brother Bill. Betty's beloved parents are Dr. Milton and Ellen Ordell, as we have mentioned. Betty and her siblings are pictured here. Her love of traveling began at home when her family traveled extensively throughout the United States. By high school, Betty had traveled to 48 states and loved every minute of it. Betty was involved in Brownies and Girl Scouts, traveling to Washington, D.C., to the Girl Scout headquarters, and later to New York City. She relates great memories of washing cars for fundraising in the driveway and eating ice cream with family and friends. Betty's love of music started when she played the cornet in the marching band in high school and sang in the choir. She was also editor of the high school yearbook. The picture of Betty here is in the 12th grade when she graduated in 1956 as valedictorian of her class. Very close with her family, Betty is pictured with her sisters and mom, then Bill, Betty, Kathy, and Becky. By then, in 1960, Betty had attended Indiana University and in 1960 graduated magna cum laude in the School of Education. She started teaching elementary and middle school while working on her MA degree, where she attended the University of Michigan in 1965. In 1960, Betty was married to Wayne Hagedorn in Big Rapids, Michigan. Betty then attended Indiana University, and in 1960 graduated magna cum laude. I think we mentioned that. We talked about Betty and Wayne adopted two wonderful boys, Jimmy in 1967 and then Jeff in 1968. Years later, in 1972, Betty and Wayne purchased Oceanic Travel in Clearwater. In 1980, they purchased a home in Dunedin, and where Betty has made her home ever since. Betty continued her teaching career and taught at Kennedy Middle and Dunedin Middle, while she spent three and a half years working with the hospital homebound. Betty was divorced after 30 years. In 1991, Betty married Alan Edelman, and as many of you may know, Alan was a winner of the Hall of Fame in 2010. Betty and Alan merged their families and enjoyed respective careers. Betty and Alan enjoyed watching their children grow and mature, later marry, and celebrate grandchildren and great-grandchildren. Jeff married in 2006 and had 2 sons, and Jim in 2008. We had mentioned the family, which is Miles and Nolan Hagedorn. Betty's story would not be complete without including her cat, Ashley, grandchildren and great-grandchildren. Great stepdaughter Lynn and Mark's children, Eva 2 years old and Alan 2 weeks old. Education, teaching, faith, music, and travel include a lifelong focus for Betty in the Dunedin community. She has been in all states multiple times and traveled in 62 different countries. Betty has been active in her church as a deacon and an elder. She's a member of the Dunedin Youth Guild, where she served as chairperson of the Holiday Tour of Homes. She's been a member of the local chapter of PEO for over 20 years and active in their fundraising endeavors. Betty has served as past president of the Church and Synagogue Library Association and the Church Fashion Show at least 2 times. Betty has served on the City of Dunedin Parks and Recreation Board, where she was secretary. Among many contributions, Betty has given hundreds of hours volunteering to our Dunedin Library through her work as a board member of the Friends of the Library and as president. She volunteers in the library bookstore for the past several years and volunteers in the back room of the library, where all the hard work is really done, sorting and organizing book donations. Pre-COVID, she was working 3 mornings a week. I think we're unstuck. We want to thank Betty for all of her wonderful, wonderful service to the City of Dunedin. Sandy?
Of course, technology is not my bailiwick. So let me see if that works. Oh my goodness, I did something. Betty, thank you, thank you. I don't even know what else I can say, but congratulations. And I know that your family and friends are so proud of you. And what I have found being on the Committee on Aging, I cannot believe how everyone knows everyone. It always amazes me that people walk in and everybody knows each other. I've been here 40 plus years, and only in the past few years have I gotten to know people, but I'm so grateful for that. So Betty, if you don't mind, are you comfortable coming up, please? Betty Edelman.
Thank you, Betty. Thank you so much. I wanted to give you this award for this year's Senior Hall of Fame, and we're going to help you get that basket of the car later. Okay? Thank you. So, good. You want to say a few words?
I just feel so blessed to live in a community like Dunedin. I think that it's so wonderful that we have a forward-thinking city commission and a forward-thinking mayor and a forward-thinking community. How many other communities could raise the amount of money that Dunedin has raised to purchase the Douglas Hackworth property and preserve that wonderful 44 acres for our community? I think it's great. And I enjoy my volunteer work that I do. I'm very proud of the organizations that I belong to. The Dunedin Youth Guild every year raises thousands of dollars, and every single dollar goes back to the youth of our community. Many, many children have received scholarships, including my grandson Mark, who received one when he was in high school, ready to go to Florida State. I'm grateful that I have a wonderful family, and I'm glad that my Atlanta family and my Dunedin family are able to be with me today. My California family did not make it, but I'm grateful for them too. And also, I love our library. I think bar none, we have the best library in the county, and I love every minute of the hours that I spend there, and I've made lots of wonderful friends there. I love the way that Dunedin has become such a progressive, beautiful community. I love the art scene that we have. I love the murals downtown, especially the dog wall. I think that's just really cool. So I just think we're really, really blessed to live in this community, and I'm glad to be a part of it. Thank you.
Just to tell you what her little plaque says as she walks to her seat. It does say Betty Edelman, Senior Hall of Fame, City of Dunedin, Florida, May 2021, Committee on Aging. So she'll take that home with her. And then her picture also is, or going to be on the wall. Like I said, on our wall, our famous wall, sort of like our own stars, wall of stars. I can't even think of the name of it. Thank you so much. So next, we're going to honor Kay Hartnett. And again, okay. And again, I'm going to invite Ginny, who is going to share her story. Huh?
What story? We'll see what story it is. We don't know, do we? It's my pleasure to introduce Kay. Kay was born in Martinsburg, West Virginia. She loves Dunedin, where she was resided for over 33 years. She describes herself as easygoing, makes friends very easily, and loves to volunteer in the community. In 1962, Kay was visiting her mother in Europe when she met her future husband, Skip. Kay shares, "It was love at first sight." And that's a direct quote. Skip's not too sure, I'm not sure, but I'm sure he is too. They were married in Naples in 1963, and Kay and Skip have been married for 58 years. As a Marine Corps wife, Kay traveled extensively from coast to coast with her family. Her husband Skip served 3 tours in Vietnam before retiring from the military in 1981. Kay and Skip have 3 children, 1 son and 2 daughters, 2 grandsons. Maybe one of you is a grandson, I don't know, live locally, and one of her daughters now lives in Portsmouth, Virginia. She recalls many memories of moving, packing, organizing, and their wonderful experiences with other children, with she and her family through the years as a military wife and family. Kay has 10 grandchildren and 10 great-grandchildren. Above is a picture of Kay and Skip with their 5 grandsons. Another with family. Night out on the town. Kay began her management career in banking at Southeast Bank and then at Gulf Bank of Dunedin. She retired from banking in 2010. Soon thereafter, Kay started a second career, transferring her management skills to the dentistry business. After 10 years, she retired, officially, so I understand, in 2020. At the same time she was working, she was an active member of the Dunedin Chamber of Commerce, where winning a blazer for the most members recruited. She enjoyed sharing her knowledge and experience of Dunedin with all visitors every Wednesday for many years. Kay served on the baseball committee for the City of Dunedin. She remembers very clearly when the Blue Jays won the World Series in 1992 and 1993. Yay, Blue Jays. Kay worked on the redevelopment committee with Bob Arnsmith and Greg Schmieder at about the same time as the baseball committee. She also served for several years as treasurer of the Braemore Neighborhood Homeowners Committee. With over 29 years of membership, Kay has been devoted to the Dunedin Youth Guild, serving as treasurer for many years. Fundraising can bring lots of fun into the kitchen, in this case, pie or hard candy. Kay's wall plaque on the cabinet reads, "Friends are like seashells we collect along the way." Sounds like Kay, doesn't it? Selling tickets is always an active part of fundraising. Family pet Sophie is always a special member of their family. As a member of Lady of Lords Church in Dunedin, Kay volunteers on the food distribution committee of the church every Monday. Kay has expressed that volunteering in the community, such as St. Vincent de Paul, has enabled her to see just how people really live and how much need there is in the community. Thank you, Kay, for your tremendous services to the City of Dunedin. Thank you.
Oh, did you hear that? Love you, Grandma. Thank you so much, Kay. And it's going to be your chance to speak. Marianne would like to give you your plaque, and then the microphone is yours.
Got my glasses this time, Kay. I'm going to read it to you. Kay, congratulations for being this year's Senior Hall of Fame for the City of Dunedin, May 2024, from the Committee on Aging. We're very honored that you're going to be our winner this year.
Thank you.
And your gift basket also will be, we'll help get that out to the car.
Okay, thank you. Gee, being a senior citizen does have perks, doesn't it? Anyway, I am so honored to be selected to this Senior Hall of Fame, and I have Anita Appy to thank for that, and thank the committee for selecting me. To get an award for something I really love to do is volunteering. I've been with the Chamber for many years. I just started a year or so ago with St. Vincent de Paul, and of course my Dunedin Youth Guild for 29 years, which I dearly love. I love living in this community. Everybody seems to know everybody. Everybody gets along. I'm not a great speaker, so I just want to thank everybody for being here. especially my husband Skip, my grandson Ryan and Stephen, Miss Lexi, and most of all from my Dunedin Youth Guild family. I love you guys. So thanks everyone for being here. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you so much, Kay. Wow, just what amazing stories, and thank you so much for sharing those moments and for Ginny to put all of those wonderful stories and pictures together. So see that our dulcimer, our dedicated dulcimer players are back, and now we're going to have a little bit of music. And this time you are needing to be a part of it, because music is really important. We heard a little bit about some theater, and now we are going to have this an old-fashioned sing-along before we close our show, our presentation. Henry Ward Beecher said that music cleanses the understanding, inspires it, and lifts it into a realm which it would not reach if it were left to itself. So we are going to do some singing. The song sheets are on your table, and we're just going to go ahead with it. Take it away.
So this is the sing-along portion. You have lyrics. It's been a difficult year and a half. Everyone, let's make some music. Please don't take my sunshine away. I'll always love you and make you happy if you will only say the same. But if you leave me and love another, you'll regret it all someday. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. You told me once, dear, you really loved me, and no one else, dear, could come between. But now you've left me and love another. You have shattered all my dreams. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away.
Yeah.
Edelweiss. Edelweiss, Edelweiss, every morning you greet me, small and white, clean and bright, you look happy to meet me. Blossom of snow, you bloom and grow, bloom and grow forever. Edelweiss, Edelweiss, bless my homeland forever. Edelweiss, Edelweiss, every morning you greet me, small and white, clean and bright, you look happy to meet me.
blossom of snow, may you bloom and grow, bloom and grow forever. Edelweiss, Edelweiss, bless my homeland forever.
Okay, This Little Light, Do Lord combination. Might need the lyrics. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine all the time, let it shine. I've got a home in glory land that outshines the sun. I've got a home in glory land that outshines the sun. I've got a home in glory land that outshines the sun. Look away beyond the blue. Do Lord, oh do Lord, oh do remember me. Sorry. Do Lord, oh do Lord, oh do remember me. Do Lord, oh do Lord, oh do remember me. Look away beyond the blue. Now we'll wear the robe. I'll wear the all white robe and you wear the crown. I'll wear the all white robe and you wear the crown. I'll wear the all white robe and you wear the crown. Look away beyond the blue. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine all the time, let it shine. Farther along. Tempted and tried, we're oft made to wonder why it should be thus all the day long, while there are others living about us, never molested
is your land.
This land is your land, this land is my land, from California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. As I went walking that ribbon of highway, I saw above me that endless skyway. I saw below me that golden valley. This land was made for you and me. I roamed and rambled and followed my footsteps through sparkling sands of her diamond deserts. All around me, a voice was sounding. This land was made for you and me. Earth was changing, heaven was rolling, and the dust clouds rolling. The voice was chanting as it always lifting. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me.
I'm watching some of the younger people with some of those songs. I don't think you knew, did you? But thank you, because those are some of my favorites and appreciate it so much. And thank you those of you who sang. There's nothing better than a little music. Well, we couldn't possibly close to this afternoon without my opportunity, our opportunity, to recognize and thank so many people who will work so generously on making today happen. And I am always awed and absolutely amazed at the generosity of our business owners, our care providers in our community, for all that they have donated. The lovely gift baskets were donated and put together, and I'm going to share those businesses with you. We want to thank our sponsors: Harbor Chase Assisted Living and Memory Care, Arden Courts Memory Care Community, Care Resources for Seniors, Home Helpers at Home Care for Seniors, D-Town Bar and Grill, Carnation Corner Florist, Harley's Popcorn Gourmet Popcorn and Cider Shop. That sounds kind of fun. My Favorite Things, Gifts, Homes, Gift Homes, Decorations, and Local Artists, Pineapple Placement Senior Advisors, Coral Oaks Independent and Assisted Living Center, Daycations Adult Daycare, Grand Villa Assisted Living of Clearwater, Downtown Dunedin Merchants Association, and Sages Theater Incorporated. Again, thank you, thank you, thank you for your generosity in making those lovely baskets for our winners possible today. We want to thank Anita Apley, because Anita, not only did she make sure we had tablecloths, thank you very much, I believe from the Youth Guild, thank you Youth Guild, but she also was the person who nominated Kay. I don't know, is Olivia Wilson here? No, but Olivia Wilson, who I understand is volunteer at the library, nominated Betty. I don't know if, did you know that, Betty? Okay. So I want to thank them. Thank you, Marianne Fisher from Arden Courts, for doing all of the work with our sponsors and putting all of this together. So many thanks to Elaine Swinehart, the recreation coordinator right here at our Hale Center. And she is the staff liaison for the Committee on Aging, and all around great person. And thank you to all of her staff today who, again, they've just reopened the center, and to be able to pull this together for us, thank you all so very much. I also have to thank Justin Cataccio, City of Dunedin's Communications, Senior Technical Assistant and Associate Producer, and, oh my gosh, this whole team. I mean, I sort of felt like I was like going to be on like 60 Minutes or something. I mean, like, this was amazing. So I just hope you all got my good side. But thank you all. I know many of you got here, thank you, got here really early and to spend time to set up so that we could have this event today. Thank you, really, truly. And Justin also was with us. We thought this was going to have to be a totally virtual event this year. And he was able to switch on a dime and just make it so we could meet again together. Also, I want to thank the Senior Hall of Fame Selection Committee, because again, without them, we wouldn't have our winners today. That was Tom Anderson and Kelly Edwards, Sharon Williams, Teresa Cordova O'Day, Bob Bellavance, and Sarah Kessinger. And of course, again, thank you for the Dunedin Committee on Aging for allowing me to be your chairperson and to help be a part of this today. And I guess just in closing, what I'd like to just say is we are all here today because Betty and Kay played a theater, in our community in Dunedin. Thank you all for coming. Be well, be safe, and God willing, we'll see you next year.